Mrs. B, and we're finally doing this video for YouTube. Yay! I'm so excited to actually finally start. And what I want to talk about today is something that's been on my mind recently. It's kind of been very heavy on my mind recently, and it's about what it means to be a submissive wife. So last week I turned 30, and I had a party, and the whole process of planning everything for that party was actually quite stressful. And I realized that the reason why it was quite stressful is because I wasn't fully letting go of everything and allowing Mr. B, my husband, to be a part of the process. And I think sometimes we think that being an obedient wife means your husband says this and you do it, but sometimes I feel like we can be disobedient through being disobedient but unintentionally, and being non-submissive unintentionally. And like some people, when in Nigerian weddings you might see the bride, when it's time to cut the cake, she goes down on her knees and feeds her husband the cake, just as a sign of respect, because that's what we do in the Nigerian culture. You just, is it the ballet? No, that's what the men do. Kunle is what the women do, I think. When you kneel down anyway. And it's not to say I'm living in the stone ages or anything. We accept that we're 21st century, so we don't really have to kneel down to your husband to feed him, but it's just out of a sign of respect. And I remember at the wedding I did that to feed him the cake, and I was like, yeah, I've got this submission thing down, I'm gonna be the best obedient wife ever. And I remember when we first got married, my husband would always say things like, baby, you don't listen, baby, you never listen to me. And I was like, I always listen to you. But last week, the whole process of planning my birthday party really showed me that I don't always listen, even when I think I do, or I just do things and forget that I haven't really consulted him in it. And like I said, it's 4 years into marriage now, but it's still something that you're continuously learning about. And I feel like before I got married, I was such a independent woman, and you see something, you do it, or you want something and you get it, and stuff like that. Whereas now it's you have to kind of unlearn certain traits that you've had and learn new ones that make you fully surrendered and fully let go. And I feel like sometimes it's because you're so, or I anyway, I'm so used to having control over situations that you feel so I feel like sometimes we don't feel like we can fully let go, basically. And I feel like as a wife, it's hard to just be okay, I'm going to follow your lead, because we have to remember that before we became wives, we were individual people with our own plans and our own mindset and our own way of doing things, and sometimes we're set in our ways and stuff. So you truly have to kind of unlearn those characteristics and learn new ones in order to make sure you're being obedient. And so a personal testimony, I guess, for me was even starting YouTube. So I knew that it was something I wanted to start, because as so many of you keep telling me, even though I do the blog posts, not everyone is a big reader, and my blog posts are quite long. So some people are like, oh, have you ever thought about doing videos? And I know that doing videos you can reach more people. So I was like, okay, yes, let's do this. And I want to do it properly. I want to get a nice camera. So I asked some of my friends who are in the videography business, for someone who is blonde, i.e. me, what camera would you recommend that is good but very easy and simple to operate for my sake. So they recommended the camera, and I did like some research on it, and I was like, okay, cool. And then so I found like a discounted one on eBay, and it came with the lens that my friends had suggested, and it also came with a year's warranty. So like, you know, if anything does go wrong within a year, I can take it back. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, found this one. So I was going back and forth with the seller on eBay, and then it finally came to the part where they were like, okay, yeah, we'll accept your offer. And I was just about to press pay now, and then I just got this text message from Mr. B saying, baby, don't you dare pay for the camera. And I was like, oh, okay, because basically he's on my eBay account as well, so he can see, like, you know, all the notifications that are coming up, and he was at work. So I just always picture it like me in the kitchen going back and forth with this seller, and him at work in the office having all these notifications flashing up, and he must have seen like, what is my wife doing? And then obviously I was just about to press pay now when he sent the message, and like obviously once he sent the message I can't do it. So there's one thing about being ignorantly disobedient where you feel like, oh well, you know, well, you didn't actually say I can't, so I'm going to do it. And it's a completely different thing altogether when your husband has said don't do this, because then you can't do it. But I just felt so like, you know, it was a couple of weeks before I turned 30, and I was like, I'm a grown ass woman, you know, like, you know, I'm going to be 30 and I can't buy something that I want to buy. And it's not like frivolous spending. Like, I don't spend money like that on clothes and shoes and stuff. So I was like, this is, you know, for a good reason. And, you know, and he was just like, no. So I was just like, oh, okay. So I did, you know, what I know how to do, which is to pray. And I just said, God, you know why I want to start YouTube, and you know why I want this camera. And it's not like I just picked one nilly-willy out of the air. Like, you know, I did ask people who are in the business who know about it, so I had done my research and everything like that. And then I just said that I said, you know, God, it's just in your hands, and I left it at that. And I told my husband, okay, fine, if you think I shouldn't buy it now, then okay, I won't buy it. And then he came home from work the next day, and then he was downstairs studying, and he sent me a message, and he was like, oh baby, send me the link to the camera you want. So I was like, okay. So I sent him the link, and then maybe about half an hour later he sent me a message, and he was like, check out this one. And so I opened the link, and it was the same camera, but it came with 2 extra lenses, and it still had the year's warranty and everything. And I was like, oh great. So I was like, okay, yeah, so he's giving me the go ahead so I can go and buy this. And then the next message came through was, I'm going to buy this for you. And I was just like, oh, thank you. And I was like, is this my birthday present, or do I still get another one? Just me, you know. But there and then I just went downstairs and I did that whole kunle thing, and I just went down on my knees and I said thank you. Not because I feel like, you know, I live in the Stone Ages or anything, but I just really wanted him to know how I felt, that I like truly respect him for taking my needs into consideration. And I know that he respected the fact that I respected his decision when he said don't buy it, because if you look at the way how it is, God uses marriages to mirror his relationship with us. So, you know, it says husbands, love your wives as Christ loves the church. And it's that thing of like, for me anyway, as a wife, it was really hard to let go of controlling situations. Even when I felt I had let go, I mean, this planning of my birthday party really showed me how much I had not let go. Like, you know, booking a venue, paying the deposit, you know, doing those kind of things without telling my husband. And it makes it sound like I'm such a bad, like, disrespectful wife right now, but at the time it was just things like, okay, this is the date, the invitations need to go out by this date, we need to book the venue by this date, you know, so this is what I found. I told him about it, and it's like, yeah, let's just do. Whereas my husband is the kind of person who, before he makes a decision, he will look at it from every single angle and dimension. He will study it, he will question it, he will compare it. And you know, the whole process takes so long before he finally says yes. And whereas I'm so used to being like, okay, yeah, this looks fine, okay, bam, let's do it. It's, you know, it can be conflicting sometimes. So I find it hard to be like, okay, I'm going to take a step back and wait for you and then go with what you agree. But I'm learning. And remember, no one's perfect and no marriage is perfect. No matter what you see when they put #goals and stuff, no marriage, no relationship, anything is perfect. Everyone is still learning. It's still a learning process for everybody. So that's what God has been teaching me. So yeah, that's my small testimony about the camera, how I actually got it and how God taught me to be obedient through that. And with the whole planning of my birthday and everything, God taught me that sometimes, even though we're not intentionally being disobedient, we can be unintentionally disobedient. So my prayer is for everyone who's married out there, if you feel like sometimes you're being unintentionally disobedient or you're just outright being disobedient, ask God to guide you and the Holy Spirit to help you so that you can, forcefully put yourself under your husband's will. And that's also why it's important to be a prayerful wife, because yes, the husband is the head of the home, but wives, we need to be praying for them so that they're being guided and led by God and not by any other voice, because if it's any other voice, then he's leading all of you down the wrong path. So it's really important for wives to pray. And also for single women, I pray that the longer you spend in your singleness, the more of your character gets formed and developed, and your independence gets formed and developed. And then when you finally do get married, it's normally harder to, again, unlearn certain freedoms and certain levels of independence that you're so used to. So my prayer for you is that when you do become married, that God will help you to conform to his will and to be able to put yourself under the covering and under the direction and obedience of your husband as well. And like, I can promise you, there's no point living life when you're pulling apart from each other and always going in opposite directions. It works better, even though it might seem harder or like a sacrifice at the time, but in the end it does work better for you to be working alongside your husband, because it does say to become one. So you're no longer on your own, but you're one flesh, guided and led by your husband, and he must be guided and led by Christ, obviously. So yeah, so that's my little word for today about what God has taught me recently about submission, being a submissive wife, being an obedient wife. Even when you feel like you've already got it sorted, he can still show you, that you're not actually operating it in every situation. So yeah, I pray that, as we continue on this journey of marriage, that God will continue to speak to us and teach us as wives of how to be good wives, and how to be good wives that honor and respect their husbands and that honor and respect God. So yeah, okay, so for those who don't actually know my marriage testimony of how God brought Mr. B and I together, I will be sharing that soon in another video. And just to say, I'm really excited to start this channel. So if you do like it, if you don't like it, still like it, and subscribe and share and all of that. You can still check out the blog. I'll still be writing my blog posts from time to time, because I know that not everyone is an avid reader, but there are some avid readers out there who do like to read. So I will still be continuing with my blog posts as well at mrsbasari.com. And no, I'm not actually using the camera now. I'm just using my iPhone right now because I haven't really figured out how to use it. They said that it was easy for someone who's blonde. So yes, we will see. I will take time and actually figure it out, but I just thought I need to get this video out now, otherwise it's going to take forever for me to actually put one out. So yeah, so subscribe and everything, and come on the journey with me. Any questions you have, put them in the description box below. No, the comment section. See, I'm learning. Put them in the comment section below, and I'll answer all your questions. And any videos that you want me to do or you want me to talk about, I'll put them in. I don't have all the answers, but God did bless me with a marriage ministry, and when I pray, he literally just downloads things into my system, into my spirit. And like, even though we're not even 5 years into marriage yet, I honestly know that I have so much that God has spoken to me about concerning marriages. So people always say, oh, but how can you know this, or how can you have a marriage ministry when you're so young and stuff? But it's just what God gave me. So yes, any questions, put them in the comments section, not the description box below. All right, thank you. Faith, love and love, Mrs. B.